What's up, family? Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
What about them?
Well, we're actually four crazy ketos today.
Yeah,
we're super crazy. Yeah.
If you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and then every Monday, we go live on Keto on the Couch. We just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time we have a special guest,
you'll be alerted to it.
You'll be alerted to it. So can you alert us to who you are? If someone is living underneath a rock and has never heard of Keto Chow before, who are these lovely people over here?
A gross rock
I'm Miriam, and this is Chris.
I'm Chris.
And he has his Keto Chow shirt on.
Hi.
Does have some dinner on it.
I'm going to
was
adjust
delicious.
the color.
Okay.
So we should have had Chris and Miriam try to do the entire.
I know. I was
opening
thinking.
monologue.
I bet you probably could have.
I would have messed it up.
No, you would have nailed it. So tell us a little bit about you, Chris and Miriam.
Oh, you want me to tell you about Miriam?
Yeah.
I'll let Miriam talk.
Yeah, you tell me about
I
me.
tend to dominate the conversation.
It's okay. I like your voice.
So I'm going to let Miriam talk as much as possible. So go ahead.
Aww.
This is Chris.
Hi.
He has a nice voice.
Hello, ladies.
I'm my husband. We're married. We live in Utah, which is cold and wintry there.
Yes.
And we came and crashed Joe and Rachel's live stream. And
We're so happy they did.
We've been having so much fun.
And you guys, right now, it's much drier than it is here. We got wet on a water ride because we did go to Universal Studios yesterday and today until 3 o'clock when we drove home.
Yep.
And we went on some water rides, and you think, give it a couple hours, you'll be completely dried off. But that doesn't happen here.
Oh man,
No.
in Utah, if something is wet, it just dries.
It dries, yeah.
You open up a bag
here.
of bread, which we don't eat right now.
We don't eat bread, yeah.
It dries out. You open up a bag of chips, they get
It's
dry.
stale, like in 15 minutes.
So
That does not happen here.
yeah,
No.
we're not used to the humidity. This is like people are taking a shower and it's just humid.
Yeah.
What the heck?
And
like-
you're here when the humidity is low.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
It's so
And
nice.
so,
Non-rainy time.
But
even
we
though
got
it
to
rained.
see the sun on my arms.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
had
I
a
wore
little
short
bit of-
sleeves instead of a sweater.
I think that no matter where you live, you don't quite appreciate what you're looking at until somebody else points it out, because Miriam was like, look at this beautiful, sunset. It's so lovely. She was like taking pictures of it. And I was like, what are you taking pictures of, like
We
the
see
Glades
that
Road
every day.
exit? Like, that's just what we see
really nice.
all the time. And so Miriam actually, I think it was last year, because we had talked about this again. Anytime you visit somebody, you have a new appreciation for where you live. And she's like, look at my ride to work. And it was like gorgeous mountains. And I'm like, yeah. Maybe we'll start noticing that more, because that is an amazing view that you guys have.
Well, and tonight we just got to see the sun go all the way down to the ground. Like it just kept
You're
going
not used to that.
the ground.
It goes behind a mountain usually.
Like at 5 o'clock, you're like, it's gone.
The last 30 minutes of sunset is behind.
It's behind the mountains.
Usually.
Yeah,
So
so
you can-
that's why we get an extra 30 minutes of sunlight, probably.
Yeah,
Or
probably.
daytime. at
And we
least.
don't get the orange disc that you can look at
Right.
because we're also too high in elevation.
Yes.
And
that's
when
too
the
close.
sun is going behind there, you can't look at it. So
It's not just the weather. Even the sun is different in different places.
Oh, but Miriam and I are the creators of Keto Chow,
Yeah,
which is
sorry.
a nutritionally
I
complete
was into
meal
the goof off
replacement.
instead of the
It's designed to make
actual
doing keto easy.
Introduction.
I'm an engineer by trade, so I always like to make things as easy as possible, and I will continue working at it until it gets even easier. And so I made Keto Chow just because I needed it for my own use, and it turns out other people like it as well. Several years ago, we got a message from the Two Crazy Ketos. They were just starting out their YouTube channel, and they wanted to try Keto Chow.
It was me. I sent the message.
They tested it out. There's a really good review of it. And through that review, we learned some really interesting things about our own product and how people perceive it. So we changed some of the documentation. And
we're still always working on improving.
We've just been having a great old time with the two crazy ketos ever since.
Yay! I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for the relationships you make in keto. And that's why, I mean, we probably sound like a broken record because we're always saying like, find a meetup in your area. You want to go to the meetups. You want to meet people. If there's a keto thing, like venture out. If there's even one in your region, try to attend it. And it's because it's not just that you'll learn really cool stuff. Like I have a feeling tomorrow you guys are going to a keto convention that's here in Boca Raton, primarily for doctors that are interested in learning new things about keto or continuing education credits for themselves. And you'll learn amazing things, but you'll probably meet people, and the relationships that you make, I think, is even more important to the success of your keto journey than maybe even the products, because the encouragement you get.
Yeah. You need somebody who gets your back.
Well, I noticed that every time you guys are so faithful to have your live stream every single day, and you say to keep yourself accountable, like what does that mean as part of your intro?
Oh, yes. I don't want to show my face to anybody who might be watching me if I knew I had Oreos last night.
Wow.
And I'd be like, I can't. We're doing a live stream the next day. I guess I have to be good. And so I do.
So do we all live stream on Sundays?
Yeah. So
But
that
we
means
don't eat
Saturday night we
Oreos.
can eat Oreos.
I've been with them on a Sunday. I know for a fact that like you live it every day.
Yeah. So I think it's just knowing that there are people that know and that are looking out for me, and we're also looking out for them. So I think that's why we do it.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
What about for guys? Do you find that the same way, or you guys are just like you don't need nobody, or do you? Or
No, accountability is everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I aside from the health, I mean, one of the things that keeps me going is the community.
Yeah.
You know?
Just to know that you're not by yourself. What do you think, Chris? How's it been for you to like meet other guys in the space that are keto enthusiasts?
Oh, to meet them? That's a lot of fun.
He likes to geek out with people.
That's true. I tend to get a bit into the weeds and the science. Again, I'm an engineer. Me speak good? I'm an engineer, and so I like to get down into the nitty gritty of a lot of stuff. But yeah, I actually really like going to the conferences and stuff like that. The one that we're going to tomorrow, we're not vendors or sponsors of.
Yeah,
we're
so
just going to go
breeze.
and enjoy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I was telling Joe and Rachel that for us, this is, even though it's a work trip, even though all that, it is a bit of a vacation because we're just kind of relaxing.
That's nice.
And it's been really nice so far. So.
Yeah, because if you've ever seen them at a convention, they're not standing still. Like you see, there's different booths and different people offer different things. So if someone is there and they're, like selling a pool, like you go to Costco and they're like, you want an air conditioner? They're not installing the air conditioner there. There's just a representative there saying, hey, if you want more information, here's a flyer. Yeah. Well, Chris and Miriam are like, they're answering questions and they're passing out stuff and they're selling things, and it's just a lot going on at once. But I saw that Sabrina had mentioned, like, I hope you're gonna like share some information with doctors.
You can't look over here.
About Keto Chow, and you are going to be there to answer any questions too that they might have.
No, a lot of the doctors we're already friends with.
That's awesome.
But there are some doctors that have never heard of us, and we will answer their questions and stuff like that. We brought along a whole load of chocolate keto chow. So if you happen to see us, ask us and we'll give you some.
I like that.
But you were going to say something. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Oh, I was just going to say we do a conference in Salt Lake, Keto Salt Lake. And it's really nice for us to go to a conference like this because then we can watch the speaker speak. Because we want to invite somebody who's a good speaker who can speak a lay language, I guess.
Yeah.
And so we want to see, like, are they good to listen to? Are they informational? Like, are they going to be understandable for a regular person and not just a doctor? But then be able to really give you something to learn. And of course, at all the conferences is a myriad of people, and it's just fun to be able to listen to and see. And like, oh, I have to get this guy, And, and when you walk up to him, like everybody, it seems like everybody in this space who's knowledgeable, like you walk up to him and like, I have a conference, can you talk? They're like, I would love that, So
that blesses your
really,
heart.
Really nice, and it's fun to be able to kind of get to know them and see them talk and then get to meet them. So that's something else we're gonna do.
I think you almost have to have like a Western hoe spirit about it. Like there's kind of like some adventure going on, because even if you're a doctor, I think if you're just like a family that's starting out, you're in a new space. You feel like you're doing something different. So like I can see the excitement of wanting to share it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Let's look at comments.
Okay.
Juju said, "Oh no, Chris and Joe monologuing."
Slide dog.
You caught me monologuing.
That's right.
Sabrina thought we were still in Orlando. No, we came
drove
back. We got back just in time to be able to. We had some dinner.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was delicious.
We had a bunch of. What did we eat on the way? Hot dogs, pork rinds.
It was.
Meat sticks.
We didn't eat until like what, 3 o'clock when we left.
3 o'clock.
Well, yesterday's dinner, lunch,
held us over for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. So we ate on Tuesday. You guys came over and we had
we had steak and
hamburgers.
it was awesome.
We didn't eat again until lunch of the next day, and then we didn't eat again until after lunch today, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good. I kind of was hoping that we would get the reaction we did out of Chris for the Costco meat sticks we had found.
Oh my God.
There is something so hilarious. It's almost like you're pulling a gag gift out because it just like keeps on coming.
Yeah.
It's like
They're
They're
really
like
long.
this long.
it was like
They're
They're
about
very
18
clean
inches.
ingredients.
it's
Yeah.
really long though. So I'm like, hey, would you like a meat stick, Chris? And he's like, sure, expecting you're getting a normal sized meat stick, and instead you're getting like a huge long snake of a meat stick.
That was pretty funny.
As was that my Keto Chow shaker bottle came to me broken.
Contact our customer service team.
Yeah,
I
we'll
was
get
gonna
it
say,
fixed.
I'm sure they will fix it. Oh,
I know
Lynette is here.
Hey, Lynette.
Speaking of them.
Keto Chow.
By the
I
way,
miss your
Esther, the
face.
easiest way to get a hold of Keto Chow is to reply to your order confirmation email. That's all you need to do.
They'll
And just
get it.
say, yo, dog.
Lynette will get it.
Yeah.
She'll take care of you.
J-Dog said Keto chocolate mint creamy for dinner.
Ooh, yum.
sounds good.
That sounds really good.
Man, I
When
haven't
did
had
we do
cream
that?
for days.
I know, right?
Gotta make that
I
happen.
haven't had.
I'm jumping ahead. Everyone's just saying hello to each other.
I
So
love
go
that.
ahead. Yep.
Speaking of community being
Yeah,
important,
Becky said you always cherish what you don't have.
It's true.
if you got straight hair, you want to add curls.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if you have curly
Curly
hair,
hair.
you're straightening it. Yep, that's the story
If
of
you
my
have
life.
no
True
hair,
that.
you just want eyebrows.
Right, there you go. Joe's working on his eyebrows.
Shelly said, what? I can't comprehend things drying. You mean having moisture on everything at all times is not normal?
No,
Nope.
not in the desert.
Not when you live where we live.
So we went to, like, we were at the restroom like 1,000 times a day because we're
Yeah.
keto and you have to stop, like, well, plus just
And
the...
I ate a whole lot of beef with a lot of fat and added butter yesterday.
Then we had to drink water.
We had to drink a lot of water, and so, and if you just mention the ladies' room, I always act like it's
oh, wait,
the last
I
time
have to
there's
go.
gonna be one.
I don't think there's ever gonna
Ever. So we stop all the time. But, and ever since Dr. Barry and NAS Nurse Cindy told us, like, try to avoid, like, the hand, like, blowers when you
I
wash your
know.
hands because you're just blowing around kind of dirty air. Go for the paper towels. And some of the places didn't have paper towels. So now you have wet hands.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm just
no,
used
dry.
to it. And so Miriam looked kind of like, oh no. And I thought, I wonder what's up there. But you have to have your hands dry at home.
Yeah, if you don't dry your hands really well, they will chap like within
Yeah.
15 minutes. So like
blew
I'm
my
like
mind.
I
You
like
can
move
dry
my
your hands,
rings
we'll
a
dry
little
them
bit,
for
and
you.
then I get chapped right here where my watch is because I get the water here and I don't dry it all the way, and so it just turns red and like under my watch sometimes I'll get so chapped because I just didn't get it dry and it just dries.
That absolutely blew my mind
awful.
because we're always moist. Every part of us
That
is
sounds
moist.
really bad.
I know
Yeah.
it sounds terrible, but it's just like your hair is always like a little bit wet,
Moist.
and yeah, that's it.
Moist.
Adrian wants to know, can you have protein sparing modified fast bed while doing BBB? And
We sure do.
Oh,
Depends
heck
on how
yeah.
you're making it. If
That's
you're
true.
making it like the way Maria Emmerich originally designed the recipe, absolutely, but don't put in the allulose.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a sweetener, and we shouldn't be having a sweetener if you're doing BB beanie. You could also be making it the way we're making it right now. If you're doing BB beanie the way we are, adding some keto chow, we have up to 1 serving. And a lot of times that's just in the bread, but we're not eating the entire loaf of bread. Chris and I were talking about the protein sparing bread. It can be really good, but I still wouldn't eat an entire loaf in a day. You're talking about
I
eating the
couldn't.
equivalent of like Well, what have we figured out? On like 20
So many
egg
eggs.
whites in a more actually, right?
Sounds like a
Because
challenge.
you have a dozen plus another 18.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot.
That's a lot of egg whites. And if you have insensitivity to egg whites, it could cause some issues.
Yeah. So
It's
just,
also a lot of protein with absolutely no fat.
yeah. So slice at a time is good.
Yeah, that's what I do. Dip it in something.
Renee said, as a native Floridian and now in Texas for many years, I can say Florida wins the humidity award.
They totally win it.
Didn't know it was a competition.
I have to say, though, when we went to Kentucky, they were up there, too, though.
Yeah.
I thought we had all of
man,
the
yeah.
humidity.
Oh,
but-
yeah, it was pretty moist there, too.
Yeah, Synergy said, I was thinking the humidity here in Florida is low right now. I guess even that's what you're used to. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is very low humidity for us right now.
Yeah.
Like, come in June and July.
Because we came in June and it was definitely not.
So first off, I want to
As
point out
comfortable
there's a
as
thing
it is
called
now.
relative humidity. As the temperature drops,
Would you like to nerd?
the ability for air
I don't
to
have a nerd
hold
Nerd.
moisture goes down. I learned that from Bill Nye the Science Guy. That's why you get condensation on cold things. Because it gets there and it comes out. So relative humidity is a thing. In Utah right now, we typically, this time of year, are having single-digit relative humidity,
Wow.
which is a fraction of the humidity that you guys would have here. So
I think if we get to like 30%, we're good.
yeah, well, we
Yeah.
are in
We
our
never
house.
get
We
that
have
high.
a humidifier.
Yeah.
Like, make it more wet in
Yes.
here. And we have a
That-
dehumidifier.
Yeah, it's trying to bring up the humidity to around 30%. Otherwise, you get cracked skin and all this other fun stuff. But
And you can't breathe at night.
yeah, you
like-
go outside.
That is not good.
And there is almost no
I'm
humidity
looking
in
up
the
the
air at all.
humidity.
You're seeing what the humidity is like?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, that's a relative humidity.
Right. It just says our air feels like 67 degrees. Right
Okay.
now.
Hey,
Does
that
it?
sounds good to me.
That sounds actually
I
good.
could go outside and sleep on
Yeah.
the ground.
It's been so nice. I've worn shorts.
Except for the
I've worn
lizards that
sandals.
are
So
in
we are
Yeah.
currently at 66% humidity.
Ooh.
Okay.
That is a big difference
And the
from
dew
home.
point is
No lotion.
55.
I
There
mean,
you
my
go.
skin feels so soft.
Wow. But that's why
Yes.
when I go to Utah, I get so excited about my hair because
Oh, I
it's
know.
staying the way that, like, when we went over to their house or where their Airbnb on Tuesday night, my hair was changing as we were talking. Like, it was like up and down, like, because that's just what it does.
It's magic hair.
Angel
here.
said, I just got my first Keto Chow order today. I loved it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Angel, thank you so much.
Deborah Pipe said, "Hello everyone, Chris and Miriam. My daughter's doctor just put her on the keto diet. Yay, I've been on it for
good.
11 months and I've been telling her.
How
That is so awesome. The
awesome.
doctors are
Yay.
starting to get on board now.
That's so
Oh,
awesome.
David had a
David,
super chat.
thanks so much for that super chat. Says, when you started coming up, oop, we
With
lost.
Keto Chow flavors, what flavors did not work?
Oh, a lot of them.
A million?
Well, the one that I've been struggling
Cherry.
with the most right now is cherry.
Chocolate mint was really hard, actually.
Cherry? Oh man, chocolate mint
We
was so
tested
hard.
that for a long time.
Did Cherry go the cough syrup route?
Yeah, that's it.
It was cough
just
drops.
keeps on tasting like cough drops.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what
Well, I'm
cherry
still working
we
on it.
try. But yeah, chocolate mint was hard because you're like put in the chocolate and then there's
not
too much
enough
chocolate. And to put in the mint and there's too much mint.
I know that as somebody who developed two flavors for you, with
Wait,
us.
has Two Crazy Ketos made any flavors?
Yeah, Irish cream and caramel
Tell us about
macchiato.
Ah.
But I remember when you approached us last year, right?
Uh-huh.
It was last year.
Yeah, it was at Omaha.
Yeah, and
2020.
we were, and you're like, listen, it takes a long time. I'm like, how long could
Oh,
it take?
but now you know.
A
Right?
long
I
time.
mean, and
Like,
like
this tastes awful. This tastes
it
good.
literally,
This tastes
I
awful.
think it took us like 3 months with Irish cream of. Nah, it's not enough. Oh, that's too
Too much. Faster,
that
slower.
doesn't taste good with butter. Oh, it doesn't taste good after 2 days. You know,
Yeah.
it
Is
was
there-
like it really surprised us.
Is there a person that is like you, the nose knows? You know, like every perfume company has a person that, like, when it's their
yeah.
final thing, their taste or their smell, their sense of smell is so acute that they're the last vote on it. Is there a last vote in your company?
Well, Miriam gets the second to the last vote.
Yeah,
and I
Chris
always take
is,
the last vote.
Just should-
A lot
I
of
usually
the,
just say, this is gross, we're not selling
yeah.
it.
Right.
A lot of the flavors of Keto Chow, the original ones, were just simply me messing
that
around
you
and saying,
wanted.
I want that, I want that. The chocolate toffee, which you don't like.
I love chocolate toffee. Chocolate toffee is absolutely number 3, and the only reason why there's a 1 and 2 is because we made them,
Yeah,
so
that's
like
true.
to taste. So, but chocolate toffee I've had a love affair. I literally like felt rashy when you had a momentary like,
yeah,
oh, we're sold out of it. and you're like, we're sold out of that. Wait.
And I said, okay.
See, she's so awesome in every way. Because raspberry cheesecake is the flavor that I was like, that can't be that good. And it is incredible.
It tastes amazing.
Awesome.
Getting a little.
Video to maintain straw smoothing.
You have your.
It's like caching and it's not switching.
Oh, so good.
Hey, there's my tongue out.
On air.
Okay.
Let's see what it does.
Let's see.
Maybe.
It wouldn't be a live stream if we didn't
It's
have a
right,
massive
it'll just-
technical
There we go.
problem.
Is it back?
It looks like it might be back.
Okay. So let's see.
Somebody
I'm
waved
gonna
their
put my-
hand.
I'm gonna put my things above my head.
I can't tell if
Because
it's
the
like.
cat, it
Oh,
should
I
be
just was
coming through.
whistling, and now it's
There we go.
whistling. So
Thank you.
Okay.
We fixed it.
Did we fix it?
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, there you go. There's Chris.
Oh, I see my hand thing.
Sorry about that.
was
Don't
fun.
know what happened. And it's funny because it said we had an excellent connection. We reset the internet. I had like a ridiculous upload and download speed.
Yeah.
But guess what? Xfinity stinks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I saw like Xfinity.
Okay, so you want to go back to what Sherry's super chat was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was, there you go. If you click on it. It says, thank you for being so honest and live with integrity. It's now 2022 and time to commit to pole dancing, Rachel. Sherry, I am totally in. I need to, we need to just install one. I don't know why our family
What,
room
pole
doesn't
dance?
have one right now.
Yeah.
We should just get
We
one
have an entire studio in
It
here.
would get in the way
in the next room.
of playing with the Oculus.
Yeah.
Probably. But
Oh my gosh.
I
We've got video of Oculus.
we had
This
so
is
much
gonna
fun.
be good in a vlog.
Well, okay, so
Did I sign a model release? I don't remember doing that.
It was actually really fun.
It was implied.
I expected that Chris and Miriam would be very clunky with a new game that they've never played, like we were.
Right.
But they picked up things very fast, and you said that you actually played
We used to play a lot of Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh yeah.
I'm
We
so
actually
excited.
have metal pads still in our basement.
We should play when we get home.
We should. I have to get out
really
the
fun.
original Xbox and hook it up
Wow.
so we could do that.
I always envied people at Dave & Buster's that could do Dance Dance Revolution.
I could not do that. Carrie said, Joe, I'm getting more creative with organ meats and hot dogs to get cheap meats. I've gotten my food bill
Nice.
under $30.
Wow.
I told you you could do it.
Carrie, that's incredible.
Great job, Carrie.
So good.
Shauna said Chris is letting his geek leak.
That's what I did.
The geek
That
is
happens.
leaking.
Yeah.
The geeking is
Comes
leaking.
out my ears.
Synergy said community helps me stay strong too. I think we can help each other and understand the triumphs and struggles. We all have them. Now, what if you don't have a community at home?
You've got one here.
Yeah.
You've got one. I see 212 people that want to cheer people on. That's what's so beautiful about this. I feel like you are in a race with yourself, but you're not in a race with anybody else. I feel like whatever victory somebody is experiencing, everybody else is cheering for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that been the case for you too? Have you noticed?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's funny because sometimes you go through some stuff and you're like, I can't wait to go text so and so, and I'm like, tell my kids.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the same way, and I also get excited for people that are at different stages in life. So when I see somebody like Nisha and they've got young children, I see you and you've got elementary children, middle school, high school children, and even
Sherry
for
just did a
adults.
$4.99 super chat and said, I've been eating egg yolk muffins for BB. Do you think it's healthier than PSMF bread? Polar opposites. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially, like Dr. Berry talks all the time, like the best way to eat eggs is actually throw out the whites. He said, the egg yolks are perfectly 1-to-1.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of protein in the whites.
Yeah.
You need more protein, which is important. But there isn't the other nutrients, the vitamins, and minerals, and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dr. Berry is talking about he would rather, if you're only going to eat part of the egg, he'd rather see you eating lots of yolks.
Gotcha.
I used to do the opposite.
I know.
Me
Me
too.
too.
I've
Because
eaten
that's
a
what
lot of
society told us, right? Don't eat fat.
egg white omelets.
Eggs are bad for you. They're gonna cause your cholesterol to go
Oh my
up.
gosh. Okay, now let's tackle the next question. What's the best way to eat eggs? If you watch Runaway Bride, you know that you need to make them all the
How
different
do you
ways.
like to eat your eggs?
You want to know what's the healthiest way to eat them?
Yeah.
Raw.
The healthiest way to
Drink
eat
it.
is to eat the whites is cooked. You
Okay.
can't get all the protein without the cooked egg whites.
Okay.
But raw yolks is the best way.
Yeah.
As close to uncooked as possible, like sunny side up, that kind of thing. But
Thank
the more you
you
cook them,
so much
the more you ruin the vitamins.
for sharing that information.
It does make the vitamins go away.
And
It makes
now-
the vitamins
Yeah,
go
that's
away.
true.
So
And
you
now
lose the
we'll
vitamins.
move to how I'm actually going to eat my eggs, which is going to be much harder cooked or scrambled, which Joe can't stand. What about you? How do you eat your eggs?
I like mine fried with a hard yolk,
Yes, thank you.
or scrambled. I'm actually good either way.
All right.
So
Chris has got it right.
Yeah, I'm actually moving over to the softer side.
okay.
Again, no, it's not
It's
about
taken
being
me-
right. You asked what's
it's
the
taken me a
healthiest way
long
to eat
time,
them.
though.
Oh, I know.
And the healthiest way to eat them is cooking the yolks destroys the vitamins.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
But
just
I
like
an
overheating
omelet.
anything with vitamins, including vegetables,
Yeah.
will ruin any vitamins if there's actually a lot of vegetables in your vitamins.
But wait,
vitamins in your vegetables.
what was the other way to cook it?
Oh, I actually like an omelet with all the things and lots
Yes.
of meat, and lots of cheese.
We like junk
All
in our
the
ice
cheeses.
cream, like a lot of like stuff in our ice cream, like little
Yeah.
topper things to mix in, and I like a lot of junk in my omelet.
Keto Life Granny said, so I'm not supposed to wait until BBB and Keto Chow is over on the 31st, but yesterday was my 6th-month anniversary, and I weighed, I'm officially down
71 pounds! That's so awesome! Congratulations!
You're amazing.
Rhonda, thank you very much for the, I don't remember how, I didn't see how much. it
$5?
was. $5 super chat. She said there's a question coming below.
Okay,
So we got to look for that question.
let's look for the
That
question.
could be anywhere.
Dun 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 dun.
Well, we can
Dun,
just
da,
look
da,
for that.
dun, da, da, da.
You
'Cause
could,
I haven't seen it come up yet.
but my favorite
Okay,
thing is
we're
always
into the
just be on the
buffering.
other side.
Dun, da,
We
da,
just
da.
skipped a lot of comments.
Oh,
Sorry.
there.
Dun, da, da.
Just wanted to let you know.
Yeah.
Sherry.
Well, we're going past all the buffer.
Now I have
Yeah.
the Real Chefs. Does taking 3 hard-boiled eggs into the viral sodium calcium noodles rough on my tummy like miracle noodles? Thank you so much.
I don't know.
I am honestly not sure because they're made different. The miracle noodles are really just like the mushrooms. Isn't that what miracle noodles is?
I don't know enough about how they actually make
Yeah,
miracle noodles.
but I sometimes the consistency isn't right for me.
Yeah.
You have to get it just right. You have to have rinsed it just enough to make it work. And I feel like still sometimes I'm like, this is not
not
quite
worth
spaghetti,
it.
right?
Right, yeah.
So here is a question from Ron. It said, evening all, Chris, the egg white protein is great. I use 16% less in my recipes than I did
Wow.
before. The mixture is fluffier and the texture is great.
Oh, okay.
Do you think it's because of the lecithin?
So what the lecithin does, here's the skinny on
Lecithin.
lecithin. What it does is it allows it to mix easier into solution. You see that if you've ever made hot chocolate and you pour the water in there, because you're doing it wrong. You don't make hot chocolate like this, but you pour the water in there and you get these clumps. That's because the powder is sucking up water too fast, and it's forming these balls
You're so cute.
with it soaks up water on the outside so fast that it leaves a dry center. And the lecithin slows down the
process.
yeah,
Balls.
it slows down the process of absorbing water, and so it makes it mix better. For instance, Keto Chow, we actually were using a milk protein isolate that didn't have lecithin in it, and people were getting clumps.
Yeah, it was really.
And you had to use warm water.
That's one of the reasons a lot of the protein powders that are out there, like, they clump up. They don't
Yeah.
have something like that.
They don't have
Yeah, and it's
lecithin.
just a little bit of, it's a specific part of the oil, and you just need a little bit of it.
Right.
Um,
Now, there's some health benefits to sunflower lecithin. People are worried they hear sunflower lecithin and sunflower oil. There's a difference.
yes, there
So
is.
what
a
are some
difference.
of the health benefits of sunflower lecithin?
Well, the only thing
People are
really
worried
that
about it being there.
Yeah, it does have. Oh dang, what is that called? Dang it,
I put Chris on the
Choline.
spot.
I don't know what you're thinking.
choline. It has choline. In it.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
choline.
And we're back.
Yeah, and we're back. Lecithin does have choline in it, and which is a precursor to dang it, acetylcholine.
Of course.
Well, it's a
Acetyl
neurotransmitter.
That's what I was thinking.
You need it for your brain. And if you don't have enough of it, well, you need to eat eggs, or you can supplement with choline L-bitartrate, not DL-bitartrate, because that will destroy your kidneys and is actually illegal in Europe.
But
Although
not the United States.
most choline supplements in the United States use DL, which has both. I'm really getting into the weeds here.
I like it, though. Let's go, man. You've eaten a lot of eggs, if that expands your brain matter.
Yeah, well, okay. When you make an organic molecule, stuff that has carbon in it, you end up with two different mirrors of the same thing. It's the same molecule, it's just a mirror image of itself. Humans only use one version. Only one version occurs in nature, but when you make in a lab a molecule, you'll end up with both of them. You only need the L version. You can only use the L version instead of the D, which is left-handed or right-handed anyway.
That's how I remember left
yeah.
and right. It's just
L?
Diestra, siniestra. Anyway, you can only use the L version. Humans can. But when they make it in the lab, they have both, and they don't go through the trouble of taking out the wrong one.
Yeah.
This is actually the same problem that people run into with exogenous ketones. When you make exogenous ketones in a lab, you have both kinds, both the left-handed and the right-handed. Humans can only use one of them, and so unless you get a really expensive exogenous ketone, you will have both kinds. Your body doesn't know what to do with the other one, and there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt about what that will do to humans over an extended period of time. And it's one of the reasons I personally don't use exogenous ketones, because we're going down that rabbit hole right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
Speaking of choline L, what was the point again?
What is the...
Don't be freaked out by sunflower lecithin.
Don't be freaked out by...
There are a lot of health benefits, and you can Google more of them if you want to know.
And the funny thing is, soy lecithin, if you're allergic to soy, you can actually still have soybean lecithin or soy lecithin, and it will not cause any problems. But people get really excited about soy lecithin, so we don't use soy lecithin in any of our stuff. But yeah, the lecithin, it slows down the mixing so that it mixes better.
Wow.
Is what it really comes down to. So,
Therapeutic Keto wants to know, is there a keto chow recipe book that you can suggest to caregivers and people with dementia and neurodegenerative diseases?
Wow.
We don't have a
not a book, but we do have a website with all of the stuff. And also, actually, if you're...
You can print out the recipes
you
and
can.
put it in a binder.
If you visit ketochow.xyz, there's so much information. And I think one of the most important things that you've shared is just your own personal experience. Chris actually used Keto Chow for 100 days.
Yeah, I was a bit crazy.
But you showed everything that was going on in your lab results with that. And you used all kinds of different fats. And that provided a lot of information too, because I don't think that we think of that enough. We're usually thinking about every part of ingredients in our food and not necessarily like the fat in our food.
Long story, very short. Butter is best. Heavy cream is a close second.
Wow.
Now, for someone who is dealing with people with neurodegenerative diseases, when I was doing that experiment, the 100 days, that's when I discovered that you could mix up Keto Chow with butter. You just have to use melted butter and you have to use warm water, and it works better with a blender. You can do the same thing with coconut oil.
Yeah.
And
It's yummy.
It is yummy.
Dealing with someone who has neurological issues, giving them
one.
coconut oil as the fat source. Well, number one, you're going to make an amazing shake that they're not going to know isn't full of sugar.
Right.
You're going to have really good compliance. They will probably eat it just fine.
Think they're eating ice cream.
And they think they're getting a treat, and you can make it with coconut oil, which is going to boost their ketones without the mirror image bad one.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it has all the other benefits that come along with coconut oil, and it's fan-freaking-tastic. Cannot recommend that enough for someone who is dealing with neurological conditions.
Yeah, I would say butter. People ask us what made us change our mind on Keto Chow because the first time we were like, I don't know, heavy whipping cream, way too many carbs, avocado oil, way too expensive. And when you said, hey, I found out you can use butter, I'm like, game changer.
It was a total game changer.
It's low in carbs and it's cheap.
Yeah.
And it tastes delicious.
It's delicious.
And the creamy
Freezes better.
makes the butter ice cream, I think, better than the heavy whipping cream one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Before, like, I would tell Chris, try Keto Chow ice cream in the ice cream maker with butter, and you're like, no, I don't like the texture. It gives you like waxy substance. So when we got the creamy, I said, now try it in the creamy, and you're like, okay, you win.
It's different.
Right? It completely changes it. Now, if you want to raise ketones, the other thing you can use is MCT oil, but I would not use MCT oil personally, in Keto Chow. I would use coconut oil because if you use too much MCT oil, somebody's going to have to live on the bathroom. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to go right through you and you don't want to have like 4 ounces of oh my gosh, can you imagine 4 ounces of MCT oil in something?
Well, and particularly if you're in a...
Did you live on the toilet?
Well, if you're a caregiver too.
Well, Chris is saying he's done it.
Yeah.
I have done that. Well, I was using liquid coconut oil, which
okay.
was,
Well, I'm talking about pure,
It was 75% MCT.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, I had just installed a bidet.
Good job.
That was perfect timing.
That's gross.
I can't recommend bidets enough.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Seriously.
I'm a believer too.
Now, without getting way into it, because you do have a whole blog post, what was it about MCT that you discovered that was not good?
The short version of that is when I use MCT oil, it raises my triglycerides, which is a bad thing. It lowers my HDL, which is also a bad thing. So and Dave Feldman, Mr. Cholesterol of cholesterolcode.com, he sees a lot of bad results with people when they use MCT oil. And so he recommends not using it if you are concerned at all about cholesterol. And just based on my own experiment, I don't use MCT oil unless I really need to fire up my brain because, say, I'm taking a test or I'm going to a symposium and I just need to be on it.
Yeah.
In which case, or Joe, you use it when you go driving, right? Oh no, that was ketones, right?
Right. If we have an extended driving.
If I have an extended driving, I will either use some exogenous ketones or I will do MCT oil. Usually driving, it's not MCT because I'm driving and I don't want to have to go to the bathroom. And that does. Hey, I mean, listen. Hey, I'm Mr. TMI. If you give me too much fat, I'm going to the bathroom. Like they will tell you, I had to go to the bathroom twice during dinner last night because eating lots of fat. If you're eating carnivore and you're kind of constipated, try increasing the fat. A lot of times you're not getting enough fat because fat will make things flow.
I thought you were going to the dinner so you could sneakily pay for dinner.
Well,
that was the third time.
That was the third. Okay.
Well, no, I tried the third time, but he wasn't there, so he came over. I was surprised you didn't see me. I pulled it out. I pulled it out when I was in the restroom, and then when he walked over, I'm like, take this before he.
And he's like, "Do you need a back rub, sir? I'm not picking up your signals."
So no, seriously, that
this
fat
isn't
will
part
make
of my
things
job.
flow a little bit. And so if you are having that constipation, number one, make sure your electrolytes are good because if you're not taking enough electrolytes, your body's going to hold on to as much water as possible and not let it go out the back. And then also make sure you're getting enough fat. You should be getting at least equal amount of grams of fat to protein.
Question, does this apply to regular coconut oil?
You're looking over on the other side.
I know, but go ahead and answer that.
Well, I'm going to let Mr. Cholesterol over there answer that.
So when I tried regular coconut oil, it did not impact my cholesterol like it did with MCT. And I think some of the...
There's less MCTs in it.
Yeah. Well, so what I was doing was I did 2 weeks of avocado oil, and then I reduced the avocado oil and replaced that amount with essentially a tablespoon of MCT in each meal. And so it was isocaloric. It was the same number of calories for the 4 weeks, but 2 of the weeks it was just avocado, and 2 of the weeks it was avocado with MCT. When I had previously done that with the coconut oil, even the liquid coconut oil, I did not see the same effects on my cholesterol. And I think that has to do with the coconut oil is primarily a saturated fat. All fats that you find in nature are monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and saturated. That just has to do with the links and the chains. We won't get into that, but you want saturated fats are more stable, and they're the preferred energy form for your body. When your body needs to store energy for later retrieval, it will use saturated fats. It's a little bit crazy, in my view, to think that the way that our body uses fats would be detrimental to your health for you to eat it. What I'm getting at is saturated fats, it's not logical that they would be bad for you if your body is using them to store energy within itself. So anyway, the saturated fat that's in the coconut oil, I think offset the weirdness that I was getting with the MCT when I used regular coconut oil. So regular coconut oil, fantastic.
Wow, that's good. That's really good information.
So Juju said, I'm only adding about a quarter of a stick of of butter for ice cream as a snack or dessert. Is that enough fat?
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
What size shoe do you wear,
I would
Joe?
say.
I wear a size 10.5.
Yeah,
So
it kind of depends, right, on what you're trying to go for.
it does. Unfortunately.
Now, if you're looking for just to make sure you're getting enough of the vitamins and stuff, you need 10 grams, which
10
would be 1 tablespoon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
which
that.
would be this. Yeah.
So, but if you're looking for flavor, it's what do you like? I like 4 tablespoons of butter in my ice cream.
Okay.
You know, Rachel, she'd rather have a stick of butter in there, but we just don't do that.
I've never had more than a half a stick.
I usually have,
Okay, Carrie said, I've been mixing in extra virgin olive oil. It works great for me. I had the lemon meringue yesterday and had some chocolate today.
Yay!
Going to save snickerdoodle and caramel macchiato for
Yeah,
last.
aw, thanks,
you
Carrie.
can use olive oil. I
You
mean, it's got a
absolutely
distinct taste for some people,
It
you know.
does.
But if you like it,
Betsy is asking, what coconut oil do you recommend? Is there...
I'm going to let Chris answer.
Yeah, I
He's
like
the
that.
one who's done all the oil
I just want you
stuff.
to lean on.
There's a person in the way.
Just lean right here.
I don't know. Whichever one you can get would probably be the best one. Coconut
One that doesn't
oil
have
in
a
and of
flavor?
itself, it's like butter. You guys actually did a test of different butters.
The Great Butter Showdown.
And I did my own test of like regular conventional butter versus the fancy grass-fed butter. I don't know if you'd grass the butter, and metabolically,
likes
I did
grass.
not see a difference. And I think it has to do with butter by itself is so much better than so many of the other options available that everything else just becomes noise. Like you can't even tell what else is going on because it's so much better. It's kind of like beef is so much better than almost anything else you can eat.
Yeah.
That the difference between this beef and this beef is so minuscule, I don't know that you're going to find a difference. So get the beef you can afford and get the beef that you like.
Right.
Yeah.
Or get the coconut oil that you like.
Now, again, one thing with coconut oil is coconut oil has a temperature, I believe it's 75 degrees.
Speaking of temperature,
Coconut oil is solid where
we
live.
have solid coconut
Right.
oil.
But I think it's...
And ours is always clear water.
It's either 72 or 75 degrees. I don't remember, so don't quote me. But it's in those 70s where if it goes below that, it gets hard.
Yeah.
Right? But above that, it melts. So like here, ours is half and half because of the temperature. If you put it in
Yeah,
the
air
closet,
conditioning,
if we take it out, what is with my throat?
I don't know. I'm going to drink just...
So-
I know. I'm like, I want to drink for you.
So if we put it on our counter, like by the air conditioner, it'll get solid. So you have to melt, even if it's like liquid completely like yours, you're fine. But you have to use warm water. If you add cold water to that, it's going to
It'll make
solidify,
it
and you're going to get waxy chunks.
So just
So you got to
like
treat it
waxy
just like butter.
chunks.
Or drink it warm like
Coconutty
hot
chunks.
chocolate.
I was
I
the
haven't tried
guitar
that.
player in a band called Waxy Chunks.
Wait, the
Shauna
band is called
said,
Waxy Chunks?
Waxy
bidet,
Chunks.
one more appliance I've bought because of this group in front of us.
It's so good though, right? Like
We
it
bought our
just makes
bidet
life
because
so
of Chris.
good.
Chris got us to buy a bidet, and boy, I put that was one of those things that Rachel left the house, no bidet. Came home to
bidet.
a hole in the wall from the outside where I have run new an electric plug in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and a bidet. And she's like, what?
What?
What is
Like,
this?
Why is our toilet plugged
Why
in?
is our toilet turned into a...
Are
Because
you-
I had to run electric to have the bidet.
Is this going to be like the Venetian station water fountain show that like we saw in Vegas.
And that's because you wanted the one that has the heated water, but
and the
Yes,
colors.
you can get them with that,
like,
but we wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted high pressure.
okay,
Oh, wow.
okay.
You need high pressure.
I wanted to take you right off the seat. Just up, out.
the ceiling. Get off the toilet.
I know. And now that it's in, it's right. Well, it scares me a little bit with Joe because he's such a value guy that it's like, well, they sell the one that a normal human person could use, but then they have the elephant hose from like the fire station, and like I got that one because it was like only $5 more. So
Why is your head in the ceiling?
yeah, why are you, Rachel? Why are
Moving
your
on.
feet dangling?
Becca said I've been using butter for my keto chow and sometimes a little heavy cream when I have it, but now I want to try keto chow with coconut oil.
You should give it a try.
Yes.
There's definitely some flavors that I think I like better with the coconut oil, like orange cream.
Or pina colada.
Oh my gosh, those are so good because you really feel like it is a tropical
Yes.
beverage.
See, now
Tropical
Maitreya
paradise.
says, yeah, MCT helps when I have fuzzy days, which is,
There you go.
that's why we personally, Rachel and I don't recommend exogenous ketones. First of all, pretty much all of the exogenous ketones out there, with the exception of one company, but I'm not going to talk
We're
about
not
it
gonna
because
talk
it's a
about that.
multi-level marketing company and we don't promote that. But they all come, no matter who's making it, whether it's Perfect Keto or anybody else, most of them are coming from one place, Go BHB. They're all the same, and then they're adding in their own flavorings and stuff.
And then you might have a flavoring you like
Here's the thing
versus
about them.
another.
Exogenous ketones, I don't care what the company says, any company, even the MLM one, if they start telling you it's going to help you lose weight, run, because exogenous ketones will not help you lose weight, except for one way. They might give you a little bit of energy, which will possibly give you a little bit more energy to go and work out a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But the only way they're going to help you lose weight is to get you to work out more, because they'll give you a little bit of energy and they give you mental clarity. But it only lasts for like 30 minutes and they're expensive.
Yeah.
So you want ketones, like Maitreya has a fuzzy day, go take a half a tablespoon of MCT oil. They turn right to ketones in your body endogenously. It lasts longer, they're healthier for you, and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And they
I
make
wish-
you more attractive.
I wish you wouldn't hold back so much about what you
I don't
think.
want to see people waste money on something that you can get naturally with better results and longer lasting.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There are
Absolutely
applications,
uses for them.
but
It's not to lose weight.
no, it's not to lose weight.
You don't have to have it.
Yeah, if you need
I like
a
the
quick
bidet
energy
talk
boost.
better.
Yeah, let's go back to the poop talk.
And someone was talking about shredded coconut.
Yes.
There is a thing called coconut manna,
Oh, yeah.
which is pureed coconut.
We've tried
flesh.
that.
That is actually really tasty,
Really
too.
good.
Okay, you already answered Roz because Rachel was looking ahead.
Yeah.
So,
Angie said, MCT oil makes me feel like I'm having a heart attack about a half hour after I use it.
Wow.
The last 20 minutes, so I stopped taking it.
Yeah, I would definitely stop
because
taking
it,
something.
It'll get you going, and that's, if you are going to mess around with MCT oil, again, not a bad thing, but you got to start slow. Not just for digestion issues, but like it can wind me up. I mean, my mind will start going a mile a minute.
when we say start out slow, I'm not even saying a spoonful. That's way too much already.
Okay, here you go, Chris.
Okay.
Lynette wants to know, how do you get all your protein without getting too much fat?
So let's go down the rabbit hole of, well, first let's tackle Angie's question,
Okay.
because that one won't
This
be
one?
quite the rabbit hole. Yes.
So Angel says, do you know if electrolytes will break a fast?
Does it have calories? If it has calories, it will break a fast. If it does not have calories, it will not break a fast.
If it's salt in water.
Literally that simple. So if you have something like, well, here's Redmond's
Relight.
These ones don't have any calories.
Here's some.
The Dr. Berry, that doesn't have any calories. It's not going to break a fast. Neither will the electrolyte drops with the cracked lid.
I know these.
So these will not break a fast. Now, the fasting method with Megan Ramos and Dr. Fung, they will say that if you're having problems maintaining a fast, then you can do a little bit of coconut oil or a little bit of bone broth. But to really keep a fast going, you would need to use things that have no calories.
Yeah.
So black coffee also wouldn't break a fast. But pure electrolytes, as long as it's pure electrolytes, nope, it's going to be great.
Also
Okay.
tea.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Miriam, do you want to hit this one? Because we're going to go down the rabbit hole of protein. There's so many people that are afraid of protein on keto. And it's because of some misinformation in the past, but I don't think we need to get into there.
It tastes delicious.
Well, you've got Bronson, who is a huge proponent of prioritizing protein.
Yes.
Maria Emmerich is a huge proponent of prioritizing protein as well. And you got the question, how do you get your protein without getting too much fat?
I'm going to tell you what, my simple answer is eat 1-to-1.
Now, what does that mean?
Okay, so for every gram of protein you're eating, you want to eat a gram of energy, which is comprised of fat and carbohydrates. So if you're on a ketogenic lifestyle, you want to try to keep your carbs under 20 or 30 total carbs for the day. So if you want to eat, if you want to weigh 150 pounds, eat 150 grams of protein and up to 150 grams of carbohydrates and fat combined. So if you want to keep your carbs at 20, that means you would eat 130 grams of fat. So find foods that are 1-to-1 or higher in protein. Here's the thing. Most of your meats are not higher than 1-to-1 in protein to energy.
In fact, they're
ribeyes, perfectly 1-to-1 or higher in protein and fat. Eggs, 1-to-1, especially if you're eating the yolks, 1-to-1. Now, if you're eating only egg whites, you're getting all the protein, you're not getting any fat, but you're also not getting any nutrients. Bacon, regardless of what everybody thinks, is a 1-to-1 food when you cook it.
Not
so
when you...
If you look in Chronometer at raw bacon, a lot of times it shows it's got a lot more fat, but you don't eat all that fat.
Unless you drink
cook
the
it
grease.
off.
Yes, I have been known to
Cooked bacon is 1-to-1. So if you're eating that and not adding a whole bunch of extra fat, it's almost impossible to go more fat than protein. But if you go to 85-15 ground beef instead of 80-20, if you eat New York strips, if you eat anything that's not 1-to-1, almost all of those, if you're eating bison or elk or venison or any of those things, they're all very lean, so you need to add fat in. So when people are saying, I'm getting way too much fat, that means you're adding way too much fat to your food.
Or you're not eating enough beef, which is sad.
Right. And again, here's two Keto Chow people who will tell you, if you have the ability to eat beef, eat beef over Keto Chow. Keto Chow is there for, I'm on my way out. We got home and we're like, I have nothing defrosted. What can we do? And Chris is like, we could mix up some Keto Chow because we have to be on a live stream in an hour. And then we realized we had some frozen burgers that we could throw in the Blackstone. So guess what? For people who love Keto Chow, 8 burgers over Keto Chow.
With chili.
With chili.
Bacon and eggs.
It's some
It
leftovers.
was delicious.
It was delicious.
Keto Chow is great for on the go, for somebody who's had dental surgery, for people who, you're a busy lifestyle. But your priority should always be eating whole foods, especially beef.
Oh, beef is good.
Yeah.
Or sheep.
Hopefully that answered your question.
Or deer.
Or
bison.
deer.
I want
Any
some bison.
ruminant animal.
Betsy says, where on Amazon can I get coconut oil?
I would actually get it from a local supermarket.
Just get it at your
instead.
grocery store.
Yeah.
And they have different
If you have
sizes,
Costco, all of the big wholesale clubs sell
I
big
know,
vats
but it's
of it.
really big, so
It
you maybe
is.
don't need that much if you're just trying it.
But, I mean, you can
get a
get
regular
coconut
one from
oil
Walmart.
at Amazon.
Yep.
But for something like that, I would try to get it at a local.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, Chris, can you have a standing, we'll go Miriam on this one. Can you have a standing My Chow subscription with the egg white protein too?
Well, with the My Chow subscription, which is our subscription program for Keto Chow, you can have an add-on that you add on the egg white protein to it, and that will recur. So, yes.
Okay.
Is that good enough answer?
Sure.
Okay.
I was going to pull it up, but you talk so fast, so.
That's
you're
good.
so much
But
better
yeah, you
than
can.
me.
When you go to
Slower.
when you go, there's 2 different versions of the My Chow. There's the surprise one, and then there's the build your own, where you can configure it however you want. With the surprise one, it just is what it is. You can order a subscription, whatever. With the build your own, one of the last step is it gives you the option to add stuff on, and that's one place where you can make a subscription for the egg white protein. We will be having the egg white protein where you can order it with a subscription all by itself.
Eventually.
We're waiting for a subsequent batch of it because we only got a limited amount of the egg white protein at first. And then we're going to make it available for subscription later. That's actually why the caramel macchiato, which is currently out of stock, is not available for a subscription.
Because
we're
didn't
waiting
get
for
enough.
the second batch, which still hasn't come yet.
I'm totally where Rhiannon is, where you're saying put the fat in the coconut and drink it all up. It's like in my head now instead of like put the lime. Yeah, put the fat in the coconut. Juju said, did Joe just say?
Yeah, that you can control adding more fat if you need it. Right now, leaner cuts are much cheaper at the grocery store, which is absolutely true. Which is why you see Rachel and I leaning heavily on things like flank steak
and then a pat of butter.
And then putting butter on top of it. We went to Fogo de Chow yesterday, and anytime he brought us like a sirloin or something, I was putting pats of butter on it.
Oh, yeah?
You know, picanha? No, there was a nice big fat piece. But there were a couple times where somebody would take the fat and then the guy would slice a piece of meat and I'm like, where's the fat? And he literally goes, she took it.
I was winking.
You know? I add
Is
butter.
this doing anything for me?
But
Is
when
this
you're
getting some
eating
fat?
ribeye, prime rib, 80-20 ground beef, that's all 1-to-1. It's perfect amount of fat to protein.
Juju said, did Joe just say that a tablespoon is the minimum for fat for vitamin absorption?
Yes, 10 grams, which
10
is
grams.
A tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, or 1 egg all have close to 10 grams of fat. I think an egg is like 11 grams.
One egg? Have you made an egg in
Keto Chow? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've not done that yet.
We've put raw egg in a Keto Chow.
It's
And
really
it is
good.
really good.
And
and
ice
tasty.
cream. I made ice cream.
Oh, I haven't done the ice cream.
We haven't done. No, yes, I have.
Did you?
Because we made Keto Chow prior to something, and because we didn't drink it the next morning, I turned it into ice cream.
I just didn't
and
even.
We ate it, and it was really delicious.
Well, I just wasn't aware that it was in there, so you didn't Lion King it.
I did not Lion King.
So that worked
I never Lion King about Rachel because then she won't eat it.
There's liver in this.
Yeah. So perfect. Renee said I prefer lean ground beef, and then I add my own fat.
So if I use leaner, I use the 90-10 almost exclusively.
Right.
Ground beef.
Which is pretty much what we're doing because that's what we got from buying a whole share of beef.
And when I do that, no one complains if I don't drain it.
Right.
If I use the 90-10. Also, it cooks down less. But then I also will put either the spicy taco soup, Keto Chow, into it, or the beef soup, Keto Chow, or the tomato. And the acacia gum, the fiber that we use, makes the fat mix in with all of the water that has come out. And so, like, you end up with a pot that you didn't drain that's ground beef with this delicious savory gravy on it that's just amazing.
That's like the scramble that we made the other day.
I actually really like that too because it's really not appealing to always see like here's some ground beef and then it's sitting in like a lazy river that like
it's just grease.
Yeah, it's just grease. I mean, that is just not something that it's hard for me to eat it, but I know why it's there. But if you're having somebody over for dinner and you're like, hey, enjoy this thing. But if you add the Keto Chow to
it makes it into a gravy.
You don't see anything. All of the gravy is now occupied. It's got like the oil has something to do except for just sit there.
And here's the thing though. So if you're looking at macros and adding stuff in the chronometer, what's interesting is if you look at cooked, for people ask us all the time, should I use cooked or uncooked? It doesn't really matter so long as you use the same. Mm-hmm. I would tell you that what you're really looking at is the protein, okay? When you cook meat is like beef, perfect example. Beef consists of 3 things: protein, fat, and water. Mm-hmm. When you cook it, the water goes away, the fat is either going to stays in there or you're going to drain it off, but the protein never goes away. So 1 pound of ground beef has the same exact amount of protein whether you cook it or it's eating it raw. It's the same amount of protein. Yeah. But when you cook it, unless you eat every bit of fat, you actually are losing fat. You're not going to be consuming as much fat as in there.
I have a question. So would you classify the hamburgers I eat as cooked or raw? What would you say? It's close.
Well, yeah.
It's
eat them pretty raw.
You almost need an outside judge to see, is my hamburger in which category?
Well, the reason I was saying that is because if you're trying to figure out which weight should I use or like which macro should I use, I would always use the raw because this way you're going to think you're eating more fat than you probably are.
Oh.
Right? So if a pound of raw ground beef has 70 grams of fat, chances are you're not going to consume 70 grams of fat because you're going to lose some of it in the cooking process down the drain unless you add in the keto chow and mix it all back together again. Yep. But chances are you're going to lose it. But if you say I use there's a version in Chronometer that says pan broiled and drained. Okay. Well, what if you actually didn't drain off as much fat as they think you did? Now you're eating more fat than you. I always would rather think I ate more than I actually did when it comes to fat and carbohydrates. Because it won't hurt me if I didn't eat as much. Yep. It's like, I think I ate 20 carbs, but realistically I only ate 10. That's not going to hurt me.
I would rather be wrong in the correct direction. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Caboodle Bry said 2 tablespoons of butter has 24 grams of fat, which is more than enough to absorb the vitamins from keto chow.
That's true.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Karen.
Juju said, Chris, I have a men's 7 double wide foot.
But I'm only 5'2".
Okay.
That is awesome.
That's still smaller than my feet.
And my mom's.
My feet could eat your feet.
Liz said, I put beef tallow in the sun on a windowsill, took off a cap, and it flew away like a cork.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Becky said, I want a bidet. I want to save more money. I thought a bidet was going to save me money, but it didn't.
I don't know that it saves money.
I don't think so, too.
It enhances your life.
It enhances things.
It's very nice.
I tend to use a little bit less toilet paper, but Rachel uses just as much. She's like, I don't trust that.
It's still, you're wet.
Fire hydrant geyser clean today.
You're still wet back there.
When you're wet in Florida, you have to dry off.
The blower thing, listen, we bought the one that has the blower to dry you off. I tried it 2 times, and I'm like, this takes way too long.
I don't have this much
It's like
time.
you have to sit there for 4 minutes while it blow dries your butt.
Well, and it may fit, that cycle may be enough in Utah, but not in Florida. Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing as like you're coming out of a shower. You're not like, okay, clean, and then just walk into your clothes. You're going to towel off first, right?
Okay.
No, I walk into my clothes.
Therapeutic people said broad day, ball fascination, and now we have bidet now.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Right. Welcome to us. Okay, let's scroll down towards the bottom so we can, what about coconut in the creamy? Same thing, melt it.
Stephanie says, what about... I haven't tried coconut in the creamy, but...
So I was going to say, I have not tried that. Maybe we can try that.
I don't think it wouldn't work, rather.
I would say you have to do it just like the butter.
Yeah.
You would have to do it just like the butter. And here's the thing, for those of you who don't know, the reason the butter works, and I'm taking it from Chris, so he should probably be saying this anyway, the reason you can use butter or coconut oil with keto chow and not have it turn back into butter and solidify again is because the gum acacia acts as an emulsifier. Kind of like when you make mayonnaise, right? Or when you make, if you make mayonnaise and mix it, why does it not separate anymore? Because the egg yolk emulsifies. So the gum acacia is doing the same thing. That's why you have to do it. I think you have to do it in a blender. I know people say they can do it in a blender bottle. Every time I've done that, I've ended up with chunks. What happens if you get chunks? Do you have to throw it out?
No.
Chunks.
You pour it into a mug.
Without the blender ball.
Yeah, we've done that.
Well, that's why. Pour it into a mug. Heat it up. Now, Miriam will drink it straight out of the mug.
It's because it's beautiful, and it's nice to drink it out of a beautiful thing.
Open back up the blender bottle.
Oh, hey, they share the same birthday.
That's for September 3rd.
I pour the now warm keto chow back into the blender bottle. Pour it back into the mug, heat it up again, and I continue to do that until the entire thing is hot. So all of the chunks that were in the blender bottle
when he has a perfectly good dirty mug that's pretty.
No, then I just wash the mug.
Okay, so can you melt it or heat it up to the point of not hot, but to the point of melted butter?
Yeah.
And then
put it back in a blender.
Fridge.
Reblend it and then put it back in the fridge, and now you won't have chunks anymore. And let it get cold again if you don't want to drink it hot.
But at that point, just drink it hot.
I'm just saying, can you?
You need to mix it with the blender. You can just shake it.
The only flavor of keto chow I've had that I didn't like hot was strawberry. It was just weird.
I did drink strawberry before too.
I don't think I've ever had hot strawberry milk. Hot strawberry milk.
Gingerbread where
Christy Davis said, "Say no to ketones."
Aw, you gotta check out if you're not following the Keto Village, go check her out. Christy Davis is amazing.
Sherry said, "I've been doing BBB since August 1st. Just tried keto chow last week. Saved me during the big C. Now I'm obsessed. Is acacia fiber easier on the tummy?"
Yes. A lot of people who have irritable bowel syndrome will actually buy straight acacia gum.
But you can buy it
from Amazon and use
I
it to
have
supplement
a bunch of
their
it.
diet.
It works great.
Well, it's because, let's get into the science of it. In addition to being an emulsifier that allows fat to mix with water, your body cannot break it down. You just don't have the enzymes to break it up. But the bacteria in your gut does have the enzymes to do
bacteria!
That. And so it will break it up and then
She's like cheering, right? What bacteria?
So your gut bacteria really likes acacia gum. And when it does that, the bacteria, as a byproduct, makes butyrate and other short chain fats. The cells that line your intestines, their most favorite thing of everything in the world, is butyrate and other short chain fats. And you may recognize butyrate as beta hydroxybutyrate, which was one of the ketones. It is interesting that even in a non-ketogenic state, our gut bacteria can produce the stuff that turns into ketones. It's just really cool.
We're amazing, right?
Yeah, but
we don't realize how amazing we are. We should talk nicer to ourselves because we're amazing. That's a lot going on.
But that butyrate, that strengthens the cells of your intestines and closes up leaky gut and a bunch of other things.
Oh, wow.
Now, we are not doctors, and I'm not making any claim that you will go from a...
I'm wearing a Jurassic Park dinosaur shirt,
you will
clearly.
not go from an ill state to a healthy
shirt.
state due to acacia gum. But if you are having problems with your gut, acacia gum has, in studies, shown to really increase the strength of the lining of cells in your intestines and reduce occurrence of irritable bowel syndrome and leaky gut.
That is really amazing.
Did I couch that enough?
Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
Way to
Okay,
go.
so Lynette said all I'm eating is ribeyes, bacon, butter, and eggs, and I always go over on fat. Okay, so first of all, if you want to know why are you over on fat, if you're trying to track macros and stay 1-to-1, because you're adding butter to everything that's already 1-to-1. But if you are only eating ribeyes, bacon, butter, eggs, you're eating BBB. If you're not eating anything else, you shouldn't be tracking your macros anyway, because you don't need to, because you're not going to gain any fat if you're eating only beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That was Dr. Berry's whole point.
And that was the hardest thing for me to trust, because I was like...
And you tested it.
I did test it, because here's the thing. I've done beef, butter, nuts, and cheese. You cannot eat that unlimited. I found that out. You can't do beef, butter, bacon, and keto baked goods, because I tried that unlimited. That did not work either. That was horribly wrong.
You cannot eat beef and a whole bunch of those bars the Built bars. You ate an entire box of Built bars in a day.
I actually cannot be trusted with Built bars, and then forget anything else, because there's just, I wake up the next morning and there's just an empty box and wrappers around me, and I wake up and I don't know where I am. But so it is finding that it's like I want to track every single thing, and I understand, and I've done that. We're tracking every morsel of food, and I'm staying on top of everything. Or you do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and you just eat when you're hungry, and you just do it. So that just eat whenever, and I don't have to think about it, but I just have to eat from these things. I have to eat a ruminant animal, and I have to eat bacon or maybe a pork chop every now and then, and butter and eggs. If you eat that, Rachel, then you can come back as many times as you want and not have to track anything.
Only for 2 times in a row, you learned a sad lesson that only eating beef, you can't eat as much.
I can't eat as much.
I think I actually beat you and Chris at Fogo de Chow the other day. I think I actually ate as much.
I think you kept up.
And I know my card turned over was the last turnover.
It was.
But it was the last card to turn over. But my point, I don't need to eat more, but you cannot you cannot out-eat anybody anymore.
I can't. But I think I needed to go through that process, because I think I've always been searching for what could I eat unlimited? What could I eat and come back and eat multiple times a day and still be okay?
Beef just shuts you down.
And I mean, I've tried all of those things. I did the cabbage soup diet, where it's you eat this entire pot of cabbage and you're not going to gain any weight. You're not going to gain any friends either in that. But like, and that didn't work for me. That certainly was not sustainable. I cannot eat that one soup for life and be happy. There's so much variety in this space that I could be happy the whole time that we're doing it, eat whatever I want, whenever I wanted, and then work through that particular issue that I had, which I was appreciative of.
Michelle wants to know, what is the best burger percentage? It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for flavor, my personal opinion would be 85-15 to 80-20.
I think 80-20.
80-20 I think gives the best flavor. But 1-to-1 falls somewhere between 80-20 and 85-15. That's so, to me, it's what can you afford? Most grocery stores charge a lot more money for 90-10 or even 85-15. Usually 80-20 I think is the cheapest. You know, unless you want to get into the 73, but I wouldn't go. Yeah. But the amount of money you save buying 73%, like what is it, like 27% fat beef, the amount of money you save, you lose because you get so much shrinkage. You're paying for a bunch of fat that drains away. Yeah. So we do a lot of 90-10 because that's what's in the beef that we bought.
I was in the pool.
But we buy whatever's on sale. But I would say 85-15 to 80-20. 1-to-1 is somewhere in there. Best flavor is going to come 80-20.
Betsy says, I have no way to get to a store. I do find that there are more places selling online or in the area where they're providing like an Instacart type of delivery service. Becky had even found it with like Wild Fork. Some of the grocery stores are doing where you could order online and then have it delivered to you, which I thought was good. Or there's other different, even meat order. We found a couple, and I can't remember off the top of my head. There was one in Omaha when we went to the Omaha thing, and they send all over the country. Yeah. If you're looking for.
You can go check out the Omaha video. We interviewed them.
Yeah. What did you remember one?
Oh, I just wanted to say, can we back up a minute and go back to the beef butter bacon egg? Mm-hmm. So when you guys were doing your live with Bronson the other day, there was a conversation and a question was asked, I guess the question wasn't. I'm trying to think of how it was. What I was thinking was Bronson said that the whole point of the BBB&E was to get you to recognize the satiation. Yep. Yeah. To see like where you're full, so that you can recognize that, so that you can, when you do put different foods back in, you're going to be able to recognize that.
That's right.
And then not overeat like we have for all these years. And I think that was an important point to put out, because that was what we're saying. Like when you eat beef, you can feel full, and then you know when to stop. And we were talking about this like with keto treats or anything else. Like sometimes you can eat this big meal and then you have a sweet, and then you're like, oh, I can fit some more of that. Yeah. You know, and it tricks your brain.
We were talking about that, and the guy came to us and Pogo the Chase like, you want dessert? And I'm like, who can possibly eat dessert?
Even if we ate
dessert. It was picanha.
But you're right, because when you eat like protein, it's like you hit a wall. You actually hit a wall. That there's not one more bite, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking like, hey, we're out to eat. I'm with keto people. No one's looking at me weird because I'm like horking up all this steak. I could eat more. I could do it, but I cannot physically do it. And that is a real reverse from my life before keto, which was, I really shouldn't do this, or I can't do this to yourself, Rachel. Stop doing this. Don't put this entire bag of chips down your mouth hole. But I could physically do it. And so therefore I did it. But here it's like, even if I wanted to do it, I couldn't do it.
Now I want to clarify. It's not just eat protein. It's not just the protein's going to hit your satiation.
That's true.
It's whole food protein, like beef, or elk, or other ruminant animals. There's even a difference between eating protein from a ruminant animal and eating like fish, or chicken, or even pork, because pork is very lean, except for when you get to the pork belly. But it's not just protein that satiates you, because you were able to eat literally an entire box of Built Bars in a sitting.
That's exactly
that has more protein than probably all of the steak that you could possibly eat. Yeah. So what is it? Because there was something where your mind was going, ooh, sweets, yummy, you could eat more of this.
Yeah,
and then you literally went into a coma and forgot what you did.
It was awful. It was not a good place for me.
This is a true story?
Yeah.
Absolutely true. That's why we don't do Built Bars. We don't do Built Bars because Rachel literally ate an entire box, and then I caught her at one point. She said, said, hide what we have left.
And so
I hid him on the top
see in
bookshelf in my den, behind stuff, and I walked in and she was scaling the bookshelf, like climbing like Spider-Man to get to them.
And he was like, honey.
So that's why we don't do Built Bars.
Honey, maybe.
Because there was something about it that was
come
triggering.
down. So like, and that's just a Rachel thing. That may not be an anybody else thing, but at least when I identified, I have a problem with this.
But we don't represent anything that we can't consume or don't consume or wouldn't recommend.
Yeah. We don't represent anything that we would climb up a bookshelf and
okay, we got to get off. Sabrina said, bought some beef liver today to grind up and add to our ground beef. I hope it works because Mark doesn't eat it straight.
Oh, it will. If you mix it up, that's how all of our ground beef now has the mixture of all of the offals in it mixed up so that we don't notice
it. You can't tell.
Sherry, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. Said I did beef butter bacon egg for 35 years, vegan overnight for RA. Wow. I'm still mind blown by the body recomposition. Watching Rachel was almost exactly on the day number. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And Sherry, you look incredible. Talk about like body recomposition. Just amazing. Just gorgeous.
Yeah. Rick Wynn said, make sure liver about 25% the first time I work it up till higher till he gets used to it.
That's good.
Becca said, I can't find liver. I'm a little afraid to try that. I do get liverwurst and brushburger and mix it in some of that with my hamburger. By far, it's been working. So far, it's been working well.
That would be dream for Joe.
Yeah. That's
he
great.
Loves
That's liver.
Liverwurst.
It's got some added like spices and stuff like in there, but that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Rachel will eat that. Rachel will eat liverwurst, especially if I put cream cheese in with it. She likes it like that.
Yeah, that is really nice, actually. I think
Lynn has a great question.
I like liver pate.
Can you order Keto Chow without going internet?
You can. So what you would need to do is call our customer service people.
And they can do it over the phone.
Now, it's only during business hours in the Mountain Time Zone.
From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
But it's 385-645-5386.
Or
just go to the bottom of any page on our website, and there's a phone number there, and that works too. And they can take your order. So,
Renee
you can even email us and then we can call you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're on the internet right now, so I think you can probably find our website. So,
because we're closed right now.
Yeah.
Renee said, I get the 90-10 ground beef at Sam's, and I love that I don't have near as much shrinkage, and I can add my own Kerrygold or cheese, which is one of the reasons you get 90-10, because you want to, it's like, here's the thing. People talk about grass-fed versus grain, grass-fed, grass-finished versus grain-fed. If it is something you're concerned about, but you can't afford grass-fed, grass-finished, you're better off buying leaner ground beef if you can afford it. Because any antibiotics or hormones that may have been in the beef would be in the fat. And so the leaner the ground beef, the less of a chance you're going to get that. And then you get to control the type and quality of fat by
It's like Keto Chow.
Butter.
You control the fat.
It's the meat version of Keto Chow.
Aw, Bri, thanks for that $5 super chat. It says, y'all have a blessed Friday and weekend. Thank you for the laughs and entertainment. Love y'all. Love you, Ryan.
Okay, we are going to get off because we've been going since
we're
5
excited.
o'clock
Sorry
this
for
morning.
the snafu in the mid.
You guys are awesome for sticking with us. Thank you so much. Any parting words? You guys we're not going to see you until Sunday night.
I know.
You're going to be at the conference.
What are you looking forward to most with this particular conference?
Just
being able to listen.
Presentations,
Yeah, we love it.
When's the last time you guys got to go to a conference and didn't have to work?
And just,
you're still going to technically be working, but not working.
4 years ago, we went to Low Carb USA in San Diego, and we just went and attended, and it was just fantastic.
Although typically at a regular conference, I ditch Chris and then do whatever I want. So I get to do a lot of stuff.
That sounds familiar.
It's just Steve and I hanging out in the booth, and Steve's our booth babe.
He's got the smart information.
He's the booth babe.
I just want to talk to everybody.
Man.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Now, don't forget, we do have a couple of videos coming over the next couple of days, and don't forget, Monday at 10 a.m.
Yep.
Eastern time.
I'll be
Keto on the couch. Next week's going to kind of be an up in the air week because we will be at the Florida RV Super Show.
Yeah, if you're going, let us know.
If you're in the area, Rachel's going to put out over on Instagram and probably on our Facebook where we're going to be. But if you are in the area, just message us and we'll try to make arrangements to meet you anywhere between Wednesday and Sunday.
Yay!
Okay. Have a night. Have a great
Have a
night.
night.
Guys.
Have
Bye.
a night. I thought he was going to say have a night.
I know. I was like, have a night. Great. That's what I thought he was going to.
Have a
My
night.
program's still.
Have a great. Awesome. Wow. Thank you guys so much.